Hey, bro, do you want to do an intro with me? Yeah, right. Welcome to the
Hey,
Film Slice.
Got him. Good one, bro. Anyway, welcome to the Film Slice podcast where we review movies and stuff like that. Over to you, Cane Dogs.
Yeah, so, we...
Hey team, Angus Strachan here, and welcome to the Film Slice podcast. I'm joined as always with my co-host, Bro-Diddly-Doo Bro-Man, and Cane Diggity-Diddly-Doo Cane Dogs.
You used to do me first.
Yeah, I swapped it around. I thought it would be...
Am I no longer your favourite?
Nah. Nah, you're alright. You're alright.
Well, Braden's fine for me.
Braden, fine. Yeah, for those that didn't tune into our last podcast...
Hold on.
Reviewing... Yeah?
Jordan is fine. Sorry, go on.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Cane Dogs.
Fuck.
Yeah, so for those of you that didn't listen to our last podcast, we reviewed 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, and we had a special guest, Braden Olden, on there. So tune in to that one if you haven't heard it already. Good film, I think we all agreed with. It was good. Heaps of stuff to unpack.
Yep.
However, this week... We're not reviewing 3 billboards
Nothing
again.
to unpack.
Because that would be silly.
We're not unpacking anything this time. We're keeping it all zipped.
That's it. This week we're reviewing Tonya. Cane Dogs, do you want to hit us up with a IMDb summary?
Competitive ice skater Tonya Harding rises amongst the ranks at the US Figure Skating Championships, but her future in the activity is thrown into doubt when her ex-husband intervenes.
Gun, gun, gun. Based on a true story.
Which I had never heard of before, because I think it was a little before my time.
We've both heard of it.
We've all heard of it.
Only in one... I
was planning on singing it at the end of the
I know
end of the podcast.
Specifically from Weird Al Yankovic's headliners.
There was this girl who swore that one day she would be a figure skating champion, and when she finally made it, she saw some other girl who was better. And so she hired some guy to club her in the kneecap. Anyway, you get the idea.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
How good is that?
I knew the kneecapping was familiar. I remember hearing that, but I was like, I didn't remember anything else.
The only reason I know of that, like, don't get me wrong, you and me listened to it a lot, but the first time I ever came into Weird Al Yankovic was because you had a DVD and that song is on it, including a clip of that happening.
Wow.
It's a recreation.
Yeah,
obviously.
so you have heard of it via Weird Al Yankovic, which is where I get all my news stories. So yeah, for this film we have forecast. We have Margot Robbie.
Aussie. Margot Robbie. That's what we call her, down under.
Europe. Yep. We don't. We call her Margot Robbie. 95% of people just call her Harlequin, which, like,
is a shame.
That's, yeah. I feel like she's better in everything other than that.
Including this film, I thought.
Sebastian Stan, which some people will know him as the Winter Soldier from the Captain America trilogy.
He is not jacked in this film.
He's in...
He does not look good.
He is in a movie called Covenant. That's like an old witch movie.
Jeez, yeah.
Yep.
In that.
We have Alison Janney, who is Lavonna Golden.
The mum?
Yep. Yes.
Jordan's checking the photo, and she looks nothing like what she does in the film.
Not even a little bit. And a bunch of other people that are in it as well. This movie has more than 4 actors. There are other actors in the movie.
What?
I'm not going to name all of them.
Who did Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson play again?
Himself.
The ice skate, I thought it was.
Yeah, was it Mandy?
Oh, no,
she got her kneecapped in the film.
Yeah, he played the stick that the guy hit him
there
with.
you go.
Right. Yeah. I've just caught on to the gag we're doing.
Jordan was so confused.
I was like, what movie are we talking about now? And then Brody was like, yeah, he kneecapped someone. And you played it so straight-faced. It's like, was I not here for one of our podcasts? There's no way I missed a Dwayne Johnson movie. He has 4 coming out this year.
In the next month.
Hey Angus, you know how every week we tweet out what film we're reviewing on our Twitter?
Yeah.
Film_slice_pod.
Yes.
Well, we had someone talked to us about that.
We actually did, yeah. Because I put out that we were reviewing this movie, I, Tonya, and we got a reply from Brooke saying, I have a comment more on the actress than the movie. Thought the movie was really great and I did enjoy it. I think Margot Robbie is so incredibly talented and it's amazing watching her performance in big movies after watching her in Neighbours as a teen. She's come a long way.
She has.
Hells yeah, she's come a long way.
That's true.
I forgot that she was in Neighbours.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Hemsworth as well.
And Hemsworth, yeah.
They've all...
Heaps.
Think of all the actors that haven't come anyways.
Yeah. And thanks for all the actors that stayed at Neighbours.
Stayed at Neighbours forever, yeah.
You can help out other people. Thanks for that, Brooke.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's actually real interesting. I forgot that she was on Neighbours.
Yeah, true.
I forgot that she was...
I forgot we had people that listen to this shit. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. Shout out to Brooke, again.
There you go. And I do agree with Brooke that Margot Robbie's performance is quite incredible.
Yep.
Best one you've seen?
Ooh. Yeah, I would say that, but I also think she does a fantastic job in Wolf of Wall Street. All right, moving on. The famous segment.
The famous segment.
When did you... That one.
Yeah.
When you saw the movie one.
When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit.
You know how I said it gets better with age?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I think it does.
Yeah, I like it.
The problem is
I thought it was like fine wine. It's more like cheap goon.
Yeah, the problem is that it's only been in 3 of our podcasts so far, so it doesn't really have age yet.
Oh, we've been doing this for a month.
Yeah.
About a month.
3, 4 podcasts, yeah. Yeah. Solid effort.
Yeah.
Go us. High five. Nice one, bro.
Yeah, thanks, Angus.
I had no participation in that, and neither did Brody.
Yeah. I just clapped. Anyway, when did you see it, Cane Dogs?
I saw it this afternoon.
This afternoon.
I finished the movie and then came here.
What was the general consensus between the accumulative party of your relationship?
I think we both liked it. I think she thought I wouldn't like it. As she said that she hasn't seen me watch a more serious film. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was really good.
I thought it was okay. I wasn't super like into it. I wasn't super really against it. I thought it was just it's just a film.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was a bit long. It's like pretty much 2 hours on the dot. It was just a little bit too long for me.
It's a bit too long, especially because it is a true story and like you know what's coming up. So it would have been. I agree. It would have been nicer to be a bit shorter.
True stories always end very kind of.
Those end oddly because once they do the event,
Which
you already know is coming,
and there was sort of not a lot of coverage once it all sort of happens.
Yeah.
It's usually a very kind of like anticlimactic and kind of like almost boring in a way ending, where it's like this thing happens and it's like and then it ended and everyone lived out their lives.
Yeah, I think that's the
and
hard.
it's like, okay.
That's the hard thing about doing a real, like, based on true events and based on real life people is in movies you get to just say, and everything was fine after this event, whereas in real life, of course, everybody continues to live lives that are challenging, and so there's not really a cut-off point to be like, and everybody rode off into the sunset. It's like, this person did this and this person did this.
The only true story I can really remember that doesn't do that is American Sniper. And that's because something happens.
They had to change the end of that film.
Yeah.
Because they'd already recorded an ending, which was going to be they ride off into the sunset. And then they had to re-record it.
Because,
Dang.
What about you, Angus?
Yeah, moral of the story. Life is boring. Watch movies.
If you're in real life, there is no happy ending. Sorry, everybody.
I liked it. I thought the performances were quite phenomenal. And I enjoyed, for the most part, the way that it was structured and the tools that they utilized to tell the story. I thought was really interesting. It is a very morbid movie as well. There's a few times I laughed.
I got a lot of laughs in this movie, actually.
For the most part, I thought it was quite morbid.
Yeah, it again, I think it touches on black comedy very well, and I think Margot Robbie and even Sebastian Stan was so good in this movie.
So, for people that haven't seen the movie yet, but happen to be listening to this, would you recommend, and who'd you recommend it to?
I'd recommend it to people who have seen a lot of other movies and they still want to see another, like, anybody who's seen probably the 2 top running films that are out at the moment and they want to see another movie, see this one. But yeah, it's not at the top of any of my lists.
I would recommend this to anyone who would have followed the story in real life. So who was around during the 80s and early 90s. But other than that, I'm not really too sure who would enjoy this.
Hopefully, though.
It's not really like a fun movie. It's not super depressing. It's not really funny. It's kind of like
white noise.
Yeah.
Don't make this your first date choice.
No, definitely not.
No.
What I'm going to say is, though, I would also recommend it to anyone who wants to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
So, as much as we don't recommend it to anyone, please watch the movie.
Please watch the movie, come back and finish this podcast.
or just listen to the podcast if you're not super interested in the film.
Yeah, exactly.
Hear
if you don't mind,
why we
if
liked
you don't
it and disliked it.
If you don't mind listening to spoilers, then
oh, what a cool sound effect!
All right, spoilers out. Broadman, we're going to start with you. What were your favourite parts of this film?
Favorite parts? I really liked the first 30 minutes. Really good pacing. You like kept moving. And I was like, okay, because I knew it was 2 hours. I knew this film was 2 hours before watching it, and so I was like, oh, if the whole film's going to be like this might actually keep me into it, keep me pumped for this entire film.
A lot of momentum.
Yeah, really fast. And there was like all the scenes were really interesting, and I was like, oh, I kind of like these characters, and like this is interesting stuff happening to everyone. I'm really liking the story. It's interesting. This scene doesn't. What am I talking about? This film doesn't really have any major breakthroughs on the production side for me of all the in like how it looked and everything, and how it kind of meant to feel like the 80s. It was all just like I've seen all of this done similarly in other films and other TV shows and stuff, and so there was nothing...
like the use of the anamorphic lens at the start of the film, where it's like basically like a square kind of, and they, in the wedding scene, they use like an old handy cam to
I've seen all that kind of stuff done before. But that being said, it is all kind of well weaved together, where you're watching this film and it's like there's never a moment where I was like, I don't like this shot. Or any kind of moment like that for me, except for some of the skating stuff, but I'll get into that later. Every other scene where people were talking to each other, I thought every shot was kind of where it kind of needed to be. I really liked the setup with her and her father, and then the immediate kind of breakdown of the relationship as well.
Yeah,
I thought that really hit like that. Like that was kind of like it was well crafted for me. So the father decides to leave, and it's her as a child standing in front of the father's car, kind of like saying to him, "You're not going to leave me here with her, and like take me with you." And then like he obviously doesn't, and it's just like I was just like, oh man, this is horrible. I was like,
yeah.
And that child actor, I can't remember what else I've seen her in, but I've seen her in a couple of other things, and I remember her being very good in those. Yeah, she's not like the best child actor I've ever seen. But she's good. She sells it.
Which brings me to what I liked about the film. I absolutely loved the acting. I thought the acting was quite phenomenal.
Yeah.
I thought it was actually stronger performances in this than I actually saw in Three Billboards. Yeah.
Margot Robbie's a good actor.
She's fantastic.
She is, and I think it comes out really well in this film because, like, don't get me wrong, Margot Robbie is quite an attractive actress.
She doesn't play on her looks for this film, though.
She doesn't play on her looks, and she actually goes out of her way to kind of make herself look kind of that bit ugly and bit like unseen kind of thing. Frizzy hair,
less kept,
weird makeup. Yeah, it's not. She's not a Hollywood star playing this character. She's trying to bring
she's not
down.
playing herself either.
And not just Margot Robbie. I think Margot Robbie is definitely the standout in it. But
everybody turned out a great performance in this.
Everyone else, yeah. And I think I really like that stylistically about the film is that it didn't pick a lot of Hollywood looking actors. Like they weren't all kind
They're
of
all
slim
actors
fit
that
and everything.
scrub up nicely, but you can also make them look like normal people most of the time.
They're mostly normal people, and that was something that kind of brought a sense of realism to the film, which I think was quite refreshing. Cause
well, even knowing the named actors, they didn't look like celebrities playing characters in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was watching on Netflix, Deepwater Horizon with
that's our movie, yeah.
Deepwater Horizon, where the oil rig blows up, and Mark Wahlberg plays the main character, and it's like a true story, obviously, and at the end of every true story they have the actual photos of the actual people. Mark Wahlberg looks nothing like him. Like, the actual guys, his
Mark Wahlberg
is a bit
unusually large,
he's a bit round and stuff like that, and all that, which kind of took me out of it a bit, whereas this film is very much like, they kind of look very much like they would be in that situation, and they are those kind of people.
And Sebastian Stan's mustache does so much acting in this movie.
So much acting. Classic.
I wanted to talk about the comedy in this film.
Yep.
Because I actually laughed almost the whole way through this. Because I am, as I pointed out in 3 Billboards, I'm a real fan of dark comedy. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favourite. Anybody who can be an absolute terrible psycho of a human being and also be funny to watch is a delight for me to watch on screen. And so the mother, like, nothing but terrible, but some of her lines, they were just funny. They just were. And Sebastian Stan, again, terrible person, but just funny. Like, even just when everything goes wrong for him with everything he's trying to do, it's just funny to watch it unwind. Like, it was just really funny for me,
I think the funniest thing was the actual incident of the guy walking into the...
My favourite bit is when he tries to leave.
Yeah, and he headbutts.
He's holding a bat and he comes against a window and he headbutts the window to break it. Yeah. And the gluten-free looked at me and just shook her hand as if to say, he's holding a bat. It was so good.
Yeah. Cool. Everyone happy? Everyone got their happy juices out?
Yeah, I feel like...
I'm all out of happy juice.
I feel like there's something else that I really liked. I really liked the scene where she walks out with the shotgun and shoots at him, and she's like, "This never happened."
That's good, where she keeps... It felt to me very much
They stopped doing it pretty quickly. The last half of the film, they didn't do anything like that, I feel like.
Well, was it, House of Cards? Is that what it is?
Yeah, like breaking the fourth wall kind of thing.
Yeah. But
it
was weird, though, because sometimes they finished their sentences from an interview they were doing. Like, Margot Robbie was talking in the interview, and then it cut back, and then she was talking, breaking the fourth wall. Now, part of me likes that, and part of me made it... It was just really difficult to tell what was going on.
I'm happy to have...
I think it's because they tried to combine the documentary with the real drama.
See, I'm happy to have either talking heads or breaking the fourth wall during the act, but I don't think you can do both, because it does get a bit confusing when you're like, oh, where are they talking from now? If you've got talking heads... They're recalling something in the past. So, like, they obviously don't know in the past that they're getting filmed. But then if they're breaking the fourth wall in the past, then they knew that they were getting filmed before.
It's a paradox that messes with you subconsciously while you watch it. Yeah. I'd be interested to see how much information the actors got on their own characters, because I'm assuming none of the actors got to meet. Like, I'm assuming Sebastian Stan never got to meet, or...
I'm pretty sure Margot Robbie did get to meet.
Really?
I can never remember characters' names. Her...
Tonya.
Yeah.
the name of the movie.
Tonya Harding.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure she got to meet Tonya.
Okay.
I feel like she also got to meet the coach, Tonya's coach.
Yeah. I think
that would have been very helpful.
The coach breaking the fourth wall was where I decided I didn't like it.
When she was like, she actually did this.
When she was doing the Rocky thing and just turned to the camera and was like, she actually did this.
I think I didn't like that because they didn't commit to it. As I said, they kind of stopped doing it about 40 minutes into the film. It would have
been okay to do it through the whole film or not at all.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. I think we're going with negatives now.
The actual figure skating moments... With a film, if you're going to make a movie about figure skating, you really need to have a small amount of time dedicated to telling the audience why people enjoy it, or what sort of things to look out for to understand that someone is better than someone else. And they kind of touch on it in that it's about your presentation a little bit, and that they expect you to be like the ideal, like, thought of a woman, back in the 90s or whatever, and they sort of touch on, like, you know, how good a triple axel is. But when they showed her do the triple axel, it didn't feel special to watch it. Like, even when they slow-moed her feet spinning through the air, I didn't watch it and be like, I can see why that is more difficult than any of the other stuff that I saw her do. They need a little bit of exposition, maybe from the coach or a commentator or a close friend, or even in the interview, for someone to properly explain why something is better than, like, just the rules. Because I know that there's a whole bunch of point systems to it, and there just needed to be something that made us invested in watching her do that. Like, I was very invested in her social life and the anxiety that came with the build-up to it, but I wasn't invested at all when she puts on the skates and go out there. I'm like, we're going to see some figure skating, I guess.
Yeah.
For 10 minutes. I'm not going to understand whether she did a good job or not unless something dramatically bad happens. Like, they show her falling over a few times. But apart from that, I'm not going to be able to watch it and be like, oh, she did fantastically. Yeah.
Okay, Broadman, hit us with the CGI talk, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, I was cringing. Yeah. I was not happy with it.
Like, Brady, you hate this bit.
Yeah, so...
I was not happy.
My issue with this is I don't see a better way around it. So, in all of the figure skating moments, Margot Robbie's obviously she can't figure skate at this kind of Olympic level.
Oh, we don't know. Maybe she can.
Well,
she didn't.
Obviously, she can't. If
not a lot of ice in Australia.
So they've had to film her and kind of put her head on someone else's body for all of these moments where she's doing the triple axel, and so many more moments where she's just skating around the rink.
Which is fine. Like, it's been done in other movies when you saw it in, like, Grand Moff Tarkin with, you know, completely raised from the dead kind of thing. You can do it. The main problem here, though, is that there's so much movement.
Yeah. So it's
and
just...
her facial expression is so important.
We're not there yet. And to the point where where it's so good there's like, oh, I can't tell the difference. So you're at every moment where it's like very kind of heightened emotions, like this is a very serious moment for the character. It just takes you out that little bit because it's so noticeable that you're just like, that doesn't look right. And then when you should be concentrating on what her feet and her legs are doing, you're concentrating on what her face is doing.
Yeah.
But I don't see a way around it. I don't see what they could have done. Usually when I've got a big problem with CGI, it's because, like, all you need to have done is this, and it would have been fine.
Sorry.
Okay. No, I think they, because when I was watching it, I'm like, oh, they can do this so much better. And I think it's easier to cut out things than to put it in.
Yeah.
So I think they should have, if they were filming stuff on ice, you know, film Margot Robbie actually skating out on the ice and stuff. Like, she would have had a bit of training.
Yeah, well, they did that for a lot of things. Whenever she kind of entered the rink, she was always
yeah. They did the like a lot of slow motion stuff when they were doing the tricks, and I thought that landed really well for me.
For a lot of the figure skating, considering some of it was the Olympics, and some of this was sort of set up to look as if they were real interviews from the 90s.
You wanted to see it from the perspective of a camera filming
They
it?
could have just showed the actual... For some of them where, like, you know, they could have shown her go out, and then they could have remastered some of the footage of her actual performance in the Olympics, shown that, cut back to it being like... I would have loved to... Like, even if it was noticeable, it would have been interesting.
And it would have made sense because that's such a reoccurring theme of the film, is to cut in different pieces of footage from different cameras, different...
it wouldn't have felt out of place for them to do it. One thing that I did like is that scene where she walks up to one of the judges' cars and he's like, look, I'll deny I said this, but you're just not the image we're looking for to represent bloody America.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
I kind of understood where it was coming from.
That was a likable, like, you know, it was real. It was a dick thing to say, and it's like, you know, it's a douchey position to have in figure skating.
But it's more than likely the truth.
It's like the harsh truth.
Yeah, it's like, look, I'll deny I said this because I'm a judge of figure skating, but you're never going to make it simply because you're not what we're looking for, regardless of how good you are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was actually a really likable scene. Like,
it was a very real moment.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But this one, I feel like I enjoyed it more than I disliked it.
Would you describe it as an Oscar grab?
Yeah. I was thinking that, actually. I thought
so.
It's been nominated for a few, I think.
I'd put Margot Robbie up there.
Robbie's
I'd
up
put
there.
Margot Robbie up there for an Oscar.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I would.
Yeah.
That scene where she's applying makeup and she's smiling through the tears was so
When she looks like dead straight into the camera.
was so powerful. And it didn't...
And when she's panicking while tying her shoelace.
Yeah.
That entire sequence was so good. Just like each one,
Very
just like
suspenseful.
you're showing, like it's like it's kind of seeing into like it's like regret and depression and stress, and it's like all just kind of, and she's like on the verge of breaking down.
And we've all either felt that sense of stress or been next to someone who's in that kind of frenzy of like, even like they're so close to the edge that just tying a shoelace is now breakdown worthy because they're just like... Also, oddly enough, I laughed. I wasn't supposed to, but there's a part where the mum throws a knife and it sticks in her arm.
Yeah.
And I laughed. And there's two reasons I laughed. One, it was a really odd shot because it was just a really oddly filmed shot. And the other reason I laughed is because it immediately made me think of a small film that you did in high school where you throw a knife at yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't help but think...
I never would have thought of that, yeah.
And I couldn't help but think of that because it's the same cut. They did it in the same way.
It's exactly the same
and
way.
it was
Links
just,
for that below.
And it reminded
Don't
me...
link that in.
It reminded me of that.
That's
and
such
it just,
a terrible film.
And it just felt so weird. But I honestly thought Margot Robbie was going to do something horrible because she picks up the knife and walks over to the mum. I'm like, whoa. And then she puts the knife down and walks out. I'm like,
I didn't laugh at that moment. That moment, I was just kind of like, this is the kind of moment where I could see the mother changing.
And she never does.
And she doesn't. And I was just like, that tells me a lot about her character.
And how heartbroken you are at the end when the mother's like, I'm proud of you. You've done really well. And then you're like, she's finally turned around and then she's like, but did you do it? Yeah. And then you find the tape. Before she found out, I was like, oh no, don't, please.
I knew as soon as she put her hand in her pocket.
Yeah.
I was like, she put her hand in her pocket and I was like, ooh.
I
was like, ooh, that sucks.
Please don't tell me she's actually not a nice person still.
Such a bad person.
I really wanted that redemption and you didn't get it.
Which again, like that would have been the Hollywood movie. The mum's like, I'm proud of you. I'm sorry for everything that I did. It was just for you kind of thing. But this movie does a great job of bringing the real into the film. She's been terrible her whole life. She's just a bad person.
Yeah. She straight up
just a bad person.
So it's raining quite heavily.
It is raining, and my parents' house has a tin roof. Really nice and calm when you're, going to sleep and stuff. Really, really good for that. But for podcasting, not so much. Do you guys have anything else that you want to add to it?
Thor Ragnarok was pretty good.
Thor Ragnarok, yeah.
Watched that recently.
Yeah. This did the opposite of glorifying figure skating and actually made it feel very corrupt.
Yeah, this is the truth about figure skating. It's like people want to win.
And it felt real. Because I remember there was a time in my life back in the old days. I was in like the horse riding sort of thing, and like I wasn't riding horses. I was dating a girl who did horse riding competitions and stuff like that. And I didn't ride horses before I met her, and I'm like, what a lovely, calm, eloquent, thing to ride horses. And then, it was very everybody was very judgy and mean, and everybody was very stressed out all the time.
All of the competitors hate each other.
And none of it was fun or pretty. And it was just that's what it reminded me of watching the figure skating. It was like, oh, it looks really pretty, and I'm sure everybody that does it is really happy and eloquent. But behind the scenes, everybody's super stressed out, and it's all really corrupt, and it's all about... People
clubbing people in the knees.
Oh, just clubbing people in the knees.
Just so many clubs.
So many clubbing kneecaps.
They should ban clubs.
I'm actually going to become MC because I've hired Brody to club you in the kneecap.
They should ban clubs. It's until this point, it's been okay to club people.
It's been fine to club people,
I think after watching this film about events that happened 30 years ago, maybe we should ban.
I know tons of people that go clubbing though. Everybody goes clubbing.
Apparently, it's a thing. Yeah.
Apparently, people go clubbing. We should try.
I got invited to go clubbing. Actually,
we should buy some clubs.
I've never been clubbing. I've been knifing before though.
Well, apparently night clubbing is when you do it. Apparently it's night. Apparently you do it.
Oh,
at night.
knife clubbing.
No, night. You do it at night time clubbing. Apparently it's night.
Is it a knife attached to a club, or is it one in each hand sort of situation?
I don't know. Apparently people own knife clubs, and you just go and chill out at the
you dress up
around the night.
Knife clubs.
Okay.
You got to line up.
Do you go there in the morning, or what's
You've got to give your ID actually. So I guess if you knife someone or club someone, too bad.
Well, it's like going to a Target or a Big W. You have to be 18 to be able to buy a knife, or
that's true. Yeah.
Unless you're in certain parts of Victoria.
Knife clubbing.
Knife club.
We should do this next weekend.
Yeah, maybe we should do a podcast at a knife club.
Yeah, at a knife club. Apparently it's very noisy though. A lot of
Lot of
screaming.
screams,
Yeah,
yeah,
probably.
yeah.
I assume.
Well, I think this is a knife fitting end.
It was nearly going to be a good pun.
Yeah, I think this is a knife fitting end to the end of that joke. Anyway, shall we leave it there?
You knifed that up.
Okay.
Yeah. So final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
It was white noise. It was fine. The movie was fine.
Yeah, fine.
See something else.
Yeah, all in all, I thought it was very much...
It's a good movie to watch with your parents if you're old enough.
Yeah. No, it's not. No, you're an idiot. Don't watch it with your parents. No, don't watch it with your parents. It is an interesting film, but it is definitely by no means happy.
If you're a figure skater.
And if you're a figure skater, don't watch it because
it
it goes downhill.
Paints you real badly.
It goes quite downhill.
Probably under enough stress already.
Yes, yeah.
With all the knife
clubbing.
Yeah.
Go knife clubbing instead.
Just the moral of the story, though, is if
Release
you've got a
the stress.
competitor, just club them.
Just club them. Just club them. All right, I think we're going to hold it up there because the rain is getting quite heavy. I'm pretty sure we're
And
going to
I've just remembered that
away
Jordan
soon.
left his window open of his car.
Oh, I think I did.
Do you want to run out?
Yeah, I'm going to go run out.
Okay, go
All right,
run out.
Thanks for listening, guys. I leave you with the fitting hands of Angus and Rome.
That's
See,
it.
Jordan, it's getting heavier.
Oh, dude.
Oh, God.
It's getting heavier and heavier.
It's... I don't see him at all. Where's he gone?
Maybe he got blown away.
He got dragged away in the floods.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Find out on the next episode whether Jordan has a car or not. Thanks for listening. If you... No,
leave your keys?
Yep,
My keys are here somewhere.
he left his keys. But is still wet. Yeah, that's it from us on Tonya. Thanks very much. I guess as always we do something kind of themed with the movie that we review to finish it off. So Broadman, do you want to club each other in the knee? I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
Last time I got set on fire, so
Yeah,
we'll sit this
that's
one out.
pretty
Yeah, we'll go.
Wait, who's gone first? Or should it be a surprise?
It should be a surprise.
Wait on. What if I get a ruler? Can we record this?
Actually, instead of one of our kneecaps each, why don't we do both of Jordan's? Yeah.
Jordan, can you chuck us a club?
If we
Yeah.
use that,
Yeah.
they can wait. Not my knees.
Yeah,
each
your
other's.
knees.
Why
Just
my knees?
one each.
All right, hold on. I'm stretching my knee out, and Angus
Okay.
has a small. What is it? What are you holding? It's like
a
It's
club.
a knife club.
Yeah.
It's like wrapping paper.
It's
like
a knife
tube
club,
of wrapping
but
paper.
not- but
Oh, that actually really hurt.
Did that hurt?
Yeah, a little. All right,
No, we should.
that was really painful.
We
Why
should
did
have
I
taken
commit?
it-
so much louder than I was expecting it
Why
to
did I
be.
commit to this?
You just listened to the Film Slice podcast. Hope you had a bit of a fun time. You can reach us on Twitter at film_slice_pod and on YouTube and that.